Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Raúl Javier Vega de la Cruz, and today I am going to talk about the unit number one called the United Kingdom and Civilizations. Here we have the homepage with all information about me and the school. Well, for introduction, in this presentation, we will learn a little about the history of the United Kingdom, where we will see how it has been conquered over time. And we will see about the history, a little for the history of United Kingdom, like the Celts, the Romans, the Vikings, and the Anglo-Saxons. In addition, we will see what the United Kingdom is like nowadays and why it's called that way. We will know a little about what we can find in these places. First, in the United Kingdom. What is the United Kingdom? The United Kingdom is a nation composed of four countries, which are Scotland, Wales, North Ireland, and England. It's located in the northwest of Europe and is a group of islands due to the Atlantic Ocean around them, with one of the most influential economies in the world, and because of its infrastructure, the United Kingdom is considered a first world country. The language spoken is English. In the right, we have the flag from the United Kingdom. Here we have a map from the United Kingdom and the four countries: Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. About the history of the United Kingdom, we have the Celts in first place. The Celts were thought to come to Britain around 500 before Common Era BCE. The Celts came originally from Central Europe and settled in Britain, France, and Spain. Julio Cesar described the Celts like most of the inland inhabitants of Britain do not sow corn, but live on milk and flesh, and are clad with skins. All the Britons indeed they themselves with wool, which occasions a bluish color, and they really have a more terrible appearance in fact. They wear their hair long and have every part of their bodies shaved except their head and upper lip. And moreover, Roman and Greek writers describe Celts as fierce and warlike people. In the picture here we have how the Celts were, sorry. Uh, Based on the above, we can say that the Celts were dedicated to culture and developed weapons, so it can be said that they developed art in warfare. In the Celtic culture, the Druids were an important part in their society. In the picture of the right, here we have about the Druids in the Celtic culture. They seem to have frequented oak forests and act as priests, teachers, and judges. Julio Cesar accounted that the Druids took charge of public and private sacrifice. They judged all public and private fights or problems and decreed penalties. If anyone disobeyed their decree, the person was barred from sacrifice. The Celts lived in huts or oak chambers with walls of wicker and roofs of thatch. Finally, here we have two pictures about the symbology characteristic of the Celts. In the first picture here we have the Celtic cross, and on the right picture here we have the Darach knot. Nowadays, Celtic culture is found in countries such as Wales and Scotland, where the musical tradition continues. Here we have the Romance in Britain. In this year, Julio Caesar decided that it would be a good move to invade Britain. This was not possible because the inhabitants of Britain were the Celts and they were excellent warriors. So it can wait. In 43 Common Era, Claudio became emperor of Rome and he decided to revive the dream of expanding the empire of the British Isles. To do so, he needed 40,000 soldiers. Britain became part of the Roman Empire and was systematically conquered for nearly half a century. Here we have one picture about how looks in these years in the Britain. Is it believed that the Romans brought the skills of reading and writing to Britain? Along the conquered territory, there were three different kinds of towns in Roman Britain, two of which were towns established by Roman charter. These were the coloniae, the municipia, and the civitas. Other Roman influences in Britain were the language and the calendar. Here we have the Vikings. The Vikings were a group of people coming from Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and the other one, who attacked and terrorized northern and eastern Europe, including Britain and Ireland from the 8th century to 11th century Common Era. In the picture here we have a representation from the Vikings. Uh, I think we saw the Vikings in movies, books, and another places from this form. The Viking Age has generally been associated with raids in which they commit all kind of crimes and brutalities to the people they attack. But even though this is said to be true, there is also evidence that they were Scandinavian raiders who came from smaller organized communities of hardworking farmers and fishermen. Many Vikings traded with Europe, Russia, and Asia, and the Vikings were excellent sailors and great warriors. And finally, they traveled in long ships called dragars, like the picture that here we have. Finally, here we have the Anglo-Saxons. Rome was invaded by some barbarian tribes who were big in number. So the Roman army left Britain about 4010 Common Era to go and defend their territory. When they had gone, their conquered British territory was vulnerable and there was no strong army to defend Britain, and tribes called the Anglo Saxon and Jute invaded. Well, eh, invading Britain was an attractive target from the Anglo-Saxons because one of the most remarkable aspects about the Anglo-Saxon was their social structure. It consists of tribal units led by chieftains who try to earn their respect from their warriors. The Anglo-Saxon groups settled in different areas of the country. They formed several kingdoms, often changing and constantly at war with one another. These kingdoms acknowledged one of their rulers as a high king, the Bretwalda. By 650, they were seven separate kingdoms. Here we have the seven kingdoms: Kent, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia, Essex, Sussex, and Wessex. Okay, and in this time, the seven kingdoms have been consolidated into three Anglo-Saxon kingdoms: the Northumbria, Mercia, and Wessex. Eh, I don't know when, but the Anglo-Saxons had become Christian people. And in this part here we have the map of the seven kingdoms from the Anglo-Saxon government. Here we have Northumbria, Mercia, Wessex, Sussex, Essex, Kent, and East Anglia. United Kingdom nowadays. Currently, the United Kingdom is one of the most powerful countries in the world due to its entire government structure. Although in recent years they have had problems with the economy, like the Brexit, it's still what is a country with a good education and a good system of health, research, and development. Here we have the the pictures from the United Kingdom. Also, in the United Kingdom are held major sports tournaments such as the uh, 2012 Olympic Games, the Wimbledon tournament, UEFA Champions League finals, among others. Sports in the United Kingdom is well known around the world due to its soccer league, which has great soccer teams such as Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, among others, which makes this league one of the most competitive in the world. In the right, here we have the Wembley Stadium, and above the Wimbledon Stadium. Nowadays, there are many celebrities who have their origins in the United Kingdom: actors, singers, writers, and, and some people. Some actors are Henry Cavill, Tom Hiddleston, Emily Blunt, Emma Watson, Alfred Molina, and Hayley Atwell. Some of the singers from the United Kingdom are Ed Sheeran, Adele, Elton John, Dua Lipa, some members of the Beatles band, and some members of Queen. The evaluation. This is the final part. Is the evaluation, and it consists of six questions from this presentation. Number one, which countries are part of the United Kingdom? Number two, how Julio Cesar described the Celts? Number three, who were the Druids? Number four, what did the Romans bring to Britain? Number five, what the Vikings were like and what they were transported in. And finally, number six, what were the seven kingdoms of Britain? Uh, all the questions are easily, and for my part, that's all. Thank you for watch and pay attention.